Good morning to what we are considering a very beautiful day. It is a little bit rainy, but it has been so hot lately that it is so nice actually to have a break from the heat.
All of Europe has been experiencing a massive heat wave. So to have a little bit of a spring rain to cool everything down is very welcome as we get back to work. You haven't seen this one. I worked on this the other night. This is my new favorite one. Oh, it's heavy. But this section right here,
Ooh.
I really like. I think this will be for over the doorway heading into the living room. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I love it. So first of all, we just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone for all of the love and support that they have been pouring out on us because of last week's video. This process has been crazy, but we feel the love and we just thank you so much. It was really surprising to us how many people have actually had very similar experiences. So we know we're not alone, and thank you. What are you doing back there?
Putting on a rock climbing harness. What does it look like I'm doing?
I don't know.
So when I was a kid, maybe, I don't know, 11, 12, maybe even 10, I don't remember. We would do a lot of what I think they're calling these days risky play or dangerous play. What do they call it, Heather?
I think it's risky play.
That sounds bad.
It's like adventurous.
Adventurous play. We'll call
I don't know what it is.
We'll call it adventurous play. Dangerous play. Play that has risk associated with it, which is completely taboo these days with kids. You have to keep them in a nice bubble, and I feel like they don't learn a lot of good life lessons that way. So I remember being given a rock climbing harness, an ascender, a gree-gree, and a rope, and being sent out to a tree, and you would toss up the rope on a stone and tie in and hope you had a good figure eight, and then you would ascend up and clip it to your gree-gree and descend, and I don't know, I feel like it taught me to take risks. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to teach my kids the same thing.
So this is also the reason that I was actually terrified of having boys when we first found out we were pregnant with Alexa, because I would hear all of the crazy stories about Bradey and his brothers and the kind of insane things that they would do. Did Gwen do this too? He has a sister.
Oh yeah,
oh
for
my
sure.
Gosh.
No, we used to have, so my dad worked in construction, so we had these massive tarps, like huge tarps. And we would tie a rock climbing harness to the four corners of the tarp, and then we would tie ourselves to a tire swing during a windstorm, and then we'd turn it into a parasail. And we would get, I don't know, 20, 30 feet off the ground, just flying in the air. I remember one time the rope snapped, and I looked out the window and I saw my brother flying across the street. 100% true stories. Adventurous play.
Oh my goodness, that's just insane. When I was a kid, I did like climb trees and stuff, but mostly I just, played with dolls.
So I realized we had a little bit of a problem recently. If you saw our hand hewing video where we did the beams over the kitchen, now obviously we want to do that for the rest of the house. The problem is that we've dug the floor for the rest of the house. So it's a lot deeper than the kitchen, but more importantly, it's unstable. And we know my history in ladders and unstable flooring.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
So my solution is this. We have a rope, we have a harness, we have a gree-gree, which is not the best tool. I couldn't find an ascender. No one does ascending around here apparently. And then the thought is that we'll just hang.
Oh my. Oh wow, you're just going for it. Oh my goodness! You should have given me like a warning or something there.
No. Because look, now I can reach in theory. I need to get a little higher. That's why I needed the ascender. I couldn't find one. I didn't have time to wait for one to ship in. There we go. Look, I can work on the beams now. Come on!
That's brilliant, honey.
It's kind of fun. It's cozy too. It's way better than setting up Panteggio. That's the first time that's ever happened. I remember the word in Italian, but I can't think of it in English.
A ladder?
No.
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding! This way I don't have to set up scaffolding. I don't know. I'm just gonna hang out here.
Okay.
It's kind of
go
fun.
make a coffee.
It's gonna be a long day. Professional monkey! Wait, I didn't realize you were still there. Oh great, now I can't reach it.
Oh, that was not a smart choice.
I can get it. Okay.
You're like Tarzan.
It's one of those things that sounded like a good idea in my head. Okay.
So the only reason that we are sanding these boards after we painted them is because, well, we painted them. We can't just throw out and start over. We need to figure out a way to reuse them. So we're going to sand them down. Once we get through the ones that we've painted, then we're going to switch to an actual whitewashing process. So that will be what we do in the future. But for now, we just have to make do with what we've got, and we have these painted boards, so I'm sanding them down.
At least I only need to be strapped in when I'm working on the undersides of the beams. On the sides, I can easily get to them from up top.
So you do not have to worry about the paint dust getting on the walls. We had some concerns over that, and we had to power wash the walls before we laid down the floor because there was no other way to do it. You can't power wash after you lay the floor. So what's happening now is, yes, we're getting some dust on the walls. It's really no problem. So we'll go in with compressed air later on and clean everything off. We also still have to point the walls, so that will be a bit messy as well. We'll need to clean them off after that too. So the walls will still be beautiful. Please don't worry.
So unfortunately, we don't have much of an update at all on our current visa situation. As we mentioned last week, the whole process takes a little bit of time. Our team is currently preparing the legal case, getting ready because we have just that one chance to appeal the situation. But in light of everything that's been going on in our personal lives, I thought it'd be a good day to talk about mental health. It's something that has far too much stigma associated with it in most societies, and if we could play just a small role in making that conversation a little bit more normal, I would be happy to. I don't think it really matters where you're coming from in life or your personal situation. At times, life can simply be a bit overwhelming. And I've personally found at various points in my life that therapy can go a long ways to helping me cope and thrive, which is why I'm very happy to share with you the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's completely online and remote, which is great for us because we live very remotely. But by answering just a few simple questions, BetterHelp can match you with a professional therapist in just a few days. What I personally like about BetterHelp is not just how easy it is to find a therapist, but also how easy it is to switch therapists, because finding the right fit is very important, and BetterHelp makes it easy and free to switch therapists without all of the stress. I know that the first time that I spoke to a therapist, I felt very hesitant because there's something in our society that says there must be something wrong with you if you need to speak with a therapist, and let me tell you, that's not the case. Mental health is very important. It's as important as your physical health, and I am a big believer in speaking to a therapist. So if you're currently feeling a little overwhelmed by life for any reason at all, consider giving therapy a try. You can go to the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/raisingvoyagers. Well, you would never know this by looking at the sky, but it's currently 2 p.m. It's so dark out. I'm glad we have electricity in the house to have some kind of light. Let's check on Heather. I think we have enough.
Yeah?
Let's
Take a break?
yeah, let's take a break from sanding. Let's put the floor down. Do you want to chop, or do you want to screw the boards down?
Ooh, I'll chop.
Got something on your face.
Do I have paint on your face? So while I do not have as much experience as Bradey, this is not my first time using a chop saw. I actually we all built a van together back years and years and years ago. We did it as a family. It was so fun. If you want to see those videos, you have to scroll way back, but they are there. But I do have a little bit of experience.
So we've had a lot of flooring experts leaving comments saying that we have to rip up the entire floor and start over because we haven't staggered our joints. That's not the case here. It's not necessary because we're laying a solid concrete floor over top of this, which again is required by code. The reason we're chopping things so small, like these small, what is this, 2-foot section or whatever, is because the boards were so warped because of the rain, the sun, and they've been sitting here for like 5-6 years. So I can't even get this 2-foot section in. Like, I've been struggling with it for a couple of minutes. So imagine doing that times 3, because these are, 12-foot boards, 4 meters. It's just not worth it. So we're chopping them all down really short, and then those seams are never seen. In this situation, staggering the joints means nothing because in the end, the concrete floor is what's going to be structural. They just need to hold the concrete in place, which in terms of pounds per square inch is less than I weigh. So as long as I can walk on the boards, it'll hold the concrete. And then the new concrete floor is what is structural. Yay.
Finito.
Well, I'm not finito. So all along the edge there is a fairly large gap, and that's because as the concrete pours over for the new floor, It will then sit on here and help lock everything in. We will be adding rebar drilled into the walls to help tie everything together. That's the whole purpose of doing this, is to add additional stability to the house. It's kind of hard to explain. Let me see if I can slice this open as a prop and explain. Wow, that is a very dull knife. Okay. Rip it. Okay, so if you can imagine this as the house, this being the wall of the bottom story and this being the wall of the top story. It's right in the center point that we're adding I want to say it's 10 centimeters of concrete floor, about 4 inches, something like that, and rebar that goes into the walls for the purpose of adding stability, because the wall as it currently is built, dry stacked, under pressure will want to do this. We'll want to bow. Well, if we add that additional concrete floor on the second story, the floor of the second floor, it won't do that. It'll add stability. So then on the bottom floor, we're adding a ring of concrete around as a foundation. At the top, we already have that, a ring of concrete around, and now we're simply adding a ring of concrete around the middle. That'll allow the stones to have some flexibility and move, because they are always shifting. A dry stacked wall like this is it needs to move, it needs to breathe, which sounds really weird. It's hard to explain, which is why we can't simply cover it in concrete, which would be ugly for one, and two, would destroy the house. But you need the additional stability for seismic activity and things like that. Even though it's been standing for hundreds of years, like the entire house has been here for 200, but we've started to hear rumors at least 200, but we've been hearing rumors that the original structure, which was a small portion of the house, could be 600-700 years old or longer. Nobody knows. So even though it's been standing that long, we do have to do a few extra steps to make the engineer a little happier, to make sure it lasts another 600 years.
Alright. Finally, why does it feel like this work took forever?
It did take forever.
Yay!
Let's go look at it.
We did it! Alright, let's go. Ooh. Oh, I love it.
Wow, it's...
Oh man, I'm so glad we did it this way. Oh, it looks so good.
I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference on camera, but it's dramatically brighter in here already. Even though we sanded off the white quite a bit, just having a brighter tone to the ceiling makes a big difference.
This has been, I'm sorry, I'm like super emotional just coming in here and seeing this, because I'll look up when this house is finished and see the ceiling, and it'll look like that. And this journey has been quite challenging so far, and we've only just begun, really. But just to stand in here and look up and see, like, it gives me a picture, like, I can picture myself in here, like, the kids sitting at the island and cooking dinner, and I'm sorry, it just, like, it's been a lot lately, and so just to see that is, like, a reminder, like, we're building a beautiful life here.
So on that note, I think it'd be fun to do a little bit more visualization. You can see that I've left a small opening up there in the ceiling because we have some additional work to do, but I want to draw out a door opening to kind of visualize the flow between the kitchen and the rest of the house. So I thought what we would do is set up a laser level and chalk out the door opening that's going to connect the kitchen to the rest of the house. I just think right now it's important to kind of visualize and, you know, like...
I think it's very important.
All right, let's do this. I think this will be fun.
Yeah.
So code requires 30 centimeters here, depending on how thick this wall is. Yeah, 30 centimeters. That's 32. Move it a little bit. Nothing's ever perfect because you can measure 30 at one spot and it's going to be 35 down lower because it's a stone house.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so this is...
Generally.
So this is what's required. Do you want any more than that? It's like
No.
I think that's good.
How high up are we going here?
200 centimeters.
How high is that?
Probably higher than you can reach.
Probably, hopefully. I don't think I want to be able to reach. I'm pretty short. So we have decided that we are going to open this up a bit more than just a standard doorway. So we have a more open floor plan in here. So this is actually going to go all the way to where the first stair starts, going upstairs.
I'll take you over to the other side so that
it's
you
gonna
can
be
see
so
it.
pretty.
Directly on the other side of this wall is the entryway. So when
Yes.
you walk in the house, you see the stairs. So to the right, you'll now be able to see the kitchen.
Yeah, so it'll be much more open. It's going to be beautiful. Is that structural? See? Just put that back.
Stop breaking the house.
So as a reminder, the house was built in 3 separate phases, and most of the house is closed off to those 3 separate sections of the house. So we have several door openings to make throughout the house, and then we are still leaving. Oh no, our plans have changed. I forgot about that.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say we're leaving one of the rooms separate, but no
No.
longer. I don't know. Plans are changing.
Tricky situation there.
Yeah.
We'll have to explain
We'll
later.
have to- we've got something really big in the works. We just haven't publicly committed to it yet because we're still working through the paperwork. I actually thought it was gonna be bigger.
I think it's great. Like, it reminds me of just, an opening between a kitchen and a dining room kind of
I
feel.
knew that I wanted it to be to the edge of the stairs,
Yeah.
but in my mind, I thought the edge of the stairs would come to here,
No.
and it'd be nice if we could bring it back to here, but then we'd have to extend the stairs out by 50 centimeters, and we're not doing that. This is actually good because the structural engineer is coming tomorrow for a meeting, so he'll be able to visualize things
Yes.
better.
And that's the beam.
This is the beam. And it'll go further in like this.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating all my time. My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind.
That right there is a secret. Very exciting, but can't talk about it right now.